Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Got two cars with hoods open. I'm working on the Jeep today. Well, right now. I got to go to O'Reilly and buy a stupid part for the tune-up. Coil boot ripped in the cylinder. BMW. Right after I got rid of all the mini parts, which would have saved me $60, but here I am. Jeep. Also have to go to O'Reilly to warranty the clock spring. So this Jeep is under recall, and the clock spring, I just could not get it. They were backed up. I couldn't get this thing in to get the clock spring done. And then it went haywire, and I had to go buy an expensive one from O'Reilly. It's about a year ago. I didn't record that, make a video. Well, I am now for you guys. It just did it again. So what does it do? I've already disconnected the battery, so I'm not going to turn on. But the headlights come on and they stay on. And the wipers come on and they stay on, and you can't change them, and the wipers in the back don't work. The cruise control seems to come on. I mean, at least the button comes on and the light comes on, but you can't drive it without turn signals. So I'm going to take this thing apart. I'll show you the tools. We'll jump right in there, show you how to pull this steering wheel apart. There is at least one special tool you need, but we'll see. Like I said, I've already disconnected the battery. But what we need next is to take a couple of screws out from down here, and I believe they're T20. So here we are underneath the dash. There's one. And I've already got these long-handled, I've only got two. I think a T20 and a T15, but I do have a couple of Duralast. I don't even remember where I picked them up, when I picked them up, or if I even picked them up. Well, I think we're already missing a screw. So mine only had two. Yours should have three. So yeah, one here in the middle and two in these two holes. And then this piece here should split. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the lever down so I can have some room here. Top off. Bottom comes on, down and off. Not too difficult. Now we got to get the steering wheel off, and there's some weird brackets in here, weird cables, or I'm sorry, metal tab things. And I'm going to try to use this pick tool, see if I can't get those metal tabs. So there's a little notch here. The best way for all three was right here where the turn signal is. And so this little L, so this 90-degree angle right here was the best way to get my tool in there. But as you can see, these catch on these little hooks. So what you're doing is getting in there and pushing this over these little hooks. So that is it. Now, I think I just got to pull these out. Go. And you got one yellow with gray, and that's yellow, and you got one yellow with black. So don't got to worry about that, because they'll come back to the same color. So that's the airbag. And now we have these two for this, and then you've got this white plug which you need to unplug. Pretty simple because that plugs into the clock spring, and the rest of this is good. So yeah, this tool was the trick. Just a pick tool. If you got one of those, they're pretty readily available, not a special tool. Now this is a 13 millimeter, and I'm just gonna get it out here. That was simple. Now here is, so one thing I want to make sure the steering wheel is perfectly straight. So you want this thing to be perfectly level. That looks perfectly level to me. So when you put the new one in, it's also going to be perfectly level. But this thing is a very not nice tool. It requires a special puller. And this puller, I got this one at O'Reilly. Some of these don't. They don't fit. These need to be ground down this edge if you're going to buy a cheaper puller. So keep that in mind. But it just, all this does is gets in there. Turn sideways or even up. And it'll pull these little angles here. We'll get in there and pull it out. So let's see if we got enough room here. The kit from O'Reilly comes with a couple of extra bolts. I think this guy is what we need. So what you need is a spacer in there. This little silver spacer might work, but this longer spacer is going to be better. Let's just make sure we don't mess up those threads. Yep, it's just going to press right against that solid flat part. Now we put these in here. Yeah, I don't know why. As you can see, I did struggle there. But one of them wanted to go and one didn't. So, cool. It was pretending like it required you to use a specific side. Yeah, well, even this O'Reilly kit, one of them did fit on one side for some reason, so. And there's nothing special to install this. But apparently getting this back out is an adventure. Well, as you can see, I got it sitting over there. It was just a little finagling, but it came out. So now this step is not necessary, but it's optional. So you do want to make sure, again, so this wheel is not going to go on crooked because there's a, or it's not going to go on a different way, right? There is this flat spot here, which is wider than the teeth. So it can only go on without being forced. It can only go on one way. So, but what I'm going to do is take this tape here and make sure it's staying in one spot. And then same size Torx screws. We got one here. And there should be two more. Yep. There's one right here. And then, yeah, of course, there's one back here, which is going to be a little tougher to get to. So, well, I'm going to go get a different tool. So yeah, it's a little tight for the drill. Actually, if you push this down, put that lever back up, it'll stay down. or it's a little tight for that screwdriver. But mini ratchet. Get right in there. And this whole thing should come on out for us. And it did. And then you just can unplug these four different plugs. And now I've got to go get a Phillips head screwdriver to slide these turn signals and the washer signals out. Now on each side here is a Phillips head screwdriver. Little screw. One is in the back. One is kind of in the front on the bottom. And now the turn signal will slide out. Then it needs to be unplugged. Tiny little plug there, and set that up here. What the heck? Just, I don't know, something tiny and plastic just went for a ride. Oh, just a part of the little tab there to hold the screw in. I don't know where that came from, but that could be part of our problem. And then the turn signal, and lights. So yeah, I'm guessing that this little piece fell out of this. It's probably not supposed to pop open like that. No, it just goes back here. So no big deal. That was probably just fine. So here's the clock spring. Again, it does, it sends the signals from everything in the turn signal and the washers, the power through this so that the wheel can turn and still have a signal through it. So all the contacts in here, and they go bad apparently. So there is a recall. It's a known problem on Dodges. And yeah, this is about $550 or $450, something like that at O'Reilly. $65 on Amazon. I'm going to go and warranty this, and I will be right back. The guy at O'Reilly's, the counter, they warranted it, but he did not seem like he was happy to warranty it. He asked me how much it cost, how much I spent it. I was like, at least $250. It might have been even 3 or 4. And he looked at it, he's like, it's a $450 part. And he like dove into the computer forever. And then he finally went back and got it. And I had he seemed happier that I said it was because I was switching it out and I didn't want my money back. I was like, no, I need it. I need to, I need another one. I don't want my money back. I want a new one. So he went ahead and gave me a new one. But like I said, he seemed extremely reluctant to do so. Not reluctant. I don't know if he was a manager, but he did not seem like he was ready to give up a $450 part. All right, come on. Just going to be careful here. I just got to slide this in, but it's complicated. Why? It wants to tip upwards. It's almost like there's no restriction here. None whatsoever, but it's acting like there's a restriction. There we are. Now, what you can notice here is this yellow piece. This will not come out so there's a little knot latch there. This is not going to come out, so it stays perfectly level until everything's all together. So plug everything back in. All right, time for the steering wheel. I hope it's not just me, but even though this is doing the exact same thing it did last time, why am I only like 95% certain in my diagnosis? So let's see. Oh, don't blow up my face. Oh, let's see here. Lights, wipers, turn signals. Well, you just saw the point where 95% certainty in my diagnosis turned into 100%. So, yeah, I'm glad that was it. I mean, like I said, I was 95% sure that was it, but who knows sometimes. This thing is a $450 part, pretty expensive. And within a year, it already went bad from O'Reilly. So maybe I will try and get it into the dealership because this vehicle is still under recall for this. The problem is when I tried to schedule it before, it was like months out, and the time, and I would be without it for a little while. So I got to get it to the dealer, drop it off. Hopefully they do it the same day, and it takes, like I said, it was 60 or 90 days out, and it just went out. We had to go on a trip, so I went and bought the sucker, and now it's died twice. So $65 on Amazon may be worth throwing a couple on there every couple of years. It would help to have a good one. So maybe the dealer is the route to go. I mean, it is the route to go. So thanks for watching. I thought I was going to make this a short, but it took a little longer than I thought. So I don't think it's going to be a short, but like, subscribe, do the free things, and we'll catch you on the next adventure.